Okay, Doc South here with a tale of from when I lived down in North Carolina and worked down there as a boiler consultant, but also I was with the Wilson Rescue Squad my whole time that I was down there, which was approximately somewhere between 3 and 4 years. And towards the end of the my time there, I was an officer within the squad. I forget just what the heck officer I was. I think I think they said I was in charge of talking funny, which to a southerner, a northerner does talk funny. And I was the educational officer. If a fellow was having trouble with learning uh, his first aid, I was his tutor. That's what I did. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. And I also would quite often lead anything where we had a lesson. Maybe there was a new procedure came out, and well, they'd show me how to talk about it, and then I'd explain it to the guys, and then like that. And I got to say, I dearly loved the people I was with, even though they talked funny. They liked me, and they figured I talked funny, and we left it at that. But they they just couldn't quite fathom my Yankee way of thinking, and I kind of scratched my head with how they managed to somehow communicate with one another. And we all got along. Actually, we got along pretty good. They were good guys, really, and a few girls on the squad too. One was kind of cute, um, but by then I had found a girlfriend down in North Carolina, so I figured I, I don't particularly want to die, so I'll just stay with one girl. Thank you. And because those Southern girls jilted can get. We picked up many a guy who was lucky to make it through the night alive once his girlfriend found out where he was. Uh, so and them Southern girls can shoot pretty straight, and they ain't too bad at throwing knives. But I know one. Let me think. I think one day we got a call. Let me think what was the first person I saw dead. Yes, we got a call that a fellow was mighty ill, and we were to go get him get him to the hospital post haste. Old timer, and we got him. Well, we hopped in the ambulance, of course, and flew to the site. And at that point, we ran into the house. Announced, of course, they could see. There was a bit of a crowd on the street, and uh, our ambulance lights were flickering, and we always kind of did that because, well, number one, we could have a wreck driving as fast as we did, and we drove pretty fast to get to that house. Go running up with the stretcher and all that. And there was a doctor there who was a friend of the family, and he said, "Boys, he's gone. He passed. I just pronounced him dead. He's there. Don't do any CPR on him. If there's any little bit of life left in him, it would just hurt him. You'll probably fracture his chest, which quite often on CPR does happen, and you just make him hurt his dying time a little worse. I've given him an insane amount of narcotics. He won't be with us much more than a couple minutes. So just take your time. Uh, I would suggest, if you could, as a favor to me, clean him up a bit, if you know what I mean. And well, but the man had a bowel movement as he died. If you get that, and just maybe some better clothes, and if any of you got a comb or something, maybe just comb his hair. The family's just really distraught. And the better he looks, the better it'll be for them. And some of them are fairly old, so I don't want it to be a double header tonight. We said, yes, sir. Or yes, doctor. He says, good boys, you go to it then. We did what we could to straighten the guy out a bit, make things not quite as grisly, and get him to where he looked at least halfway presentable. And we lifted him onto the gurney and cleaned up whatever we had to clean. And we, we just strapped him into the, because he was upstairs, and we had to get him downstairs. And boy, no one was around, and we said, my God, I hope we don't drop him. He's awful heavy. That's not going to look good. Let's just do what we can. And I said, I wasn't anything like an officer then. I said, well, I guess if we all just grab at a corner, it's got to be a little lighter. And we did. We finally got him on the stretcher down, and the rolling stretcher was out in the living room, so we were able to roll that out the door and down the little bit of steps. And of course, there were different family members who were just following and sobbing. Oh gosh, it was pretty tough. Got him into the ambulance and said, I went over and said, very sorry for what happened, but it doesn't look like he suffered too bad, and I hope you'll see him again one day soon. And they said, yes, thank you. And they off we went, and dropped the fellow off at the morgue. And it had evidently been a busy day for the people in the morgue, because there was a number of bodies in the on stretchers and on like little platforms inside the freezer or the cooler, not so much a freezer. And we dropped him off and just went back, and that was the only call that night. We didn't get a chance to help anyone that was in pain or anyone who was dying, but with this fella, we figured we did our best for him, and we did what we could for the family, and we left it at that. I remember coming home feeling, woo, that was rough, but it was also good. And so I think everybody, I remember the members thought, they were a little worried that I might be all shook over something like that, and it worked out okay. It worked out okay for them too, and whoosh. But and that would be something, if you have someone in your life who's a rescue person, that scenario happens so often, and there are times when there's no point in doing the CPR anymore. It would just be painful, and better to let them go. At least that's what the thought was back in the day. Now maybe that's changed, but back then pretty much the doctors would often say, we'd describe a symptom or a thing or two on the patient, fingernails and different points on the skin and such, and the doctors say, no, you guys just bring him in, he's gone. Might not be quite dead yet, but you just make him, you'll put him in more pain. And it's pretty much how we did it down there. Whether that's how all rescue does, I can't say, but that's what we did. Anyway, I'll catch you later. I know that's kind of a grisly story, but the man didn't suffer any real major pain. His family was comforted that he, it didn't look like he had been rolled over by a truck or something, and we were as polite as we could be and as understanding as we could be. And I think one of the women in that family, I think, brought us a few weeks later, brought us a whole bunch of cookies and thanked us so much, and said how we had made a tough time a whole lot nicer. So So I guess score one for the Gippers. We'll catch you later. Bye now and God bless. And love one another. Bye bye.